Group policy also gives me the option to back up my GPOs. Let's say you think you no longer need a certain GPO, or you're going to make a lot of changes to a GPO, and just in the off chance your changes do not work the way you think they will work, you want the ability to quickly restore the prior settings in your group policy object. Well, what I can do is right-click an individual GPO, and there is an option to back up. You can also right-click this group policy objects folder, and there's an option to back up all. Well, I'm going to just back up all of them. It says, what location do you want to back them up to? I'm going to back them up to my desktop. So on my desktop, I'm going to select that here, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it GP Backup. And I'll click OK for that, and we'll just back them up. As that's backing up, I'm going to go back to the desktop. So it says that's done. It was successful. Now, there's no real point to look at these in the folder. But when it opens, this is every GPO. Now, this is actually the GUID, the Global Unique Identifier. Sometimes it's just called the ID. But this contains the XML files that have all the settings for every GPO. But again, there's no real point to look at it in this context. Now let's say, I'll click OK for that, the backup being successful. I'm going to delete this RTS device restrictions GPO. So I'll just right click and delete. Do you want to delete this GPO and all links to it in this domain? Will not delete links in other domains. Well, we don't have any links in other domains. So we'll say yes. This GPO is completely deleted. If it was linked to my domain or organizational units in my domain, all those would be deleted. Those settings no longer apply to my users. But let's say that was a mistake. Something is now broken in the environment and you want to have that policy start to apply again. Instead of recreating the policy and trying to define all the settings manually, I can simply come back to Group Policy Objects, and I'm going to click on this Manage Backups when I right-click. This gives me a list of every policy. So we backed up all of these policies. I know this is the one I deleted, RTS Device Restrictions. What's great about this is you can select the policy and then view the settings in it before you restore it. Maybe you have multiple versions. This IE11, good security with the recommended settings, I'm going to say don't. But now if I full screen that and click this Show All, now if I just scroll down a bit, I can see the only setting is under Computer Configuration, Prevent Installation of Removable Devices. So you know every setting in that policy before you even restore the policy. If that's exactly the setting I want, then I can simply make sure that policy is selected, just highlight it and restore. We'll say OK to the confirmation and OK. And it's back in the list. Now, it does not relink itself. So if this was linked to the domain or organization units, you would have to go back, link an existing GPO, and you would have selected out of the list. So it does not automatically do that. Just adds it back to that Group Policy Objects folder. So pretty useful overall. Now, as we've been talking, we've created a lot of policies here. I don't want any of these policies we created. They just clutter the interface. So what I'm going to do is just delete these policies. Now, just the handful here I want to delete. Now, it does not let you like hold down Shift and select more than one and delete multiple. That could end catastrophically if you were not paying attention and deleted like all of your policies possibly. But we'll delete those just so this is a bit cleaner. And I'm also going to delete that starter GPO I created earlier. I don't need that either. So now this is a pretty clean look.